All right. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. How are you guys doing? Welcome back to another Q&A Sunday. So it's 8:13 p.m. It's a little on the later side, right? Late night. But what better time? So how are you guys doing, man? How are you guys doing? What's up? What's up? What's up? Man, let me know what questions you guys have today. Let's see. I have a to-do list here. Reconnect. Oh yeah, the Relentless podcast I want to do by tonight. So that's one of the last things I have left to do on this list. How are you guys doing, man? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hit that thumbs up button as you're tuning in. Let's talk a little bit. The way how the Q&A sessions usually go, I'll answer a bunch of questions. I'll try my best not to do over a minute in terms of the responses. And we'll do a little bit of studying as well. We'll talk a little bit about our metrics, how the week has went, things that we're going to be looking to do to improve for next week, to be a little bit better. So I will log into TraderView, which I believe I uploaded to already. I'll double check. Let's see. So this is how the week has been looking. The week hasn't been the week hasn't been the best week, right? Last week we had a strong start to this month, though. Right now, I mean, we're still red hot. It just things do happen, and I rewatched 3 of these days, right? And I think I traded well. All right, I traded well. We could have done some things better, but overall, I traded all right. And so we just got to tighten up a little bit, right? Once we tighten up a little bit, we'll be able to connect much better on those trades. So right now, the last 30 days hasn't been bad, but let's zoom in on, let's see here, the 18th to the 22nd. Was that 22nd? Yeah. So week three, right? Detail. So week three, we lost a total of 744, which to be honest is not terrible. I mean, it could have been much worse, right? This is not bad. This is one decent green day, which I believe we will see this upcoming week. I feel very fine mentally. I put out that video earlier today, which I'll respond to all the comments by the end of the night. That video, that walk in the park, just talking a little bit about how we can manage when things are kind of tough, let's say, right? When you have something going on in your personal life, how do you adjust? How do you stay dialed in, stay focused on the task at hand in the market? So it's interesting, man. I feel pretty good. But I still will use some smaller size coming into the next week before anything crazy, right? Twin, what's up, man? What's going on? It's good to see you. Yeah, everything is all right. Everything is all right for the time being. We're getting there. We're getting there, slow and steady. So yeah, this is how the week was looking. Not too good. We started off with a decent green day, and this is when we had ILAG. ILAG was a very strong stock, and I think just off the strength of that stock moving so well, like we got green. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, opportunities to be green, but you needed to manage risk well. Wednesday, I took on some huge risk on one trade that traded the lows, and ended up, basically striking myself out on the day. Or else this would have been a flat day, right? If we think about it, and maybe I would have came back. I believe Wednesday we had some stocks around 2 p.m. that did all right. Maybe this would have been a green day. So one thing that I told myself for Friday is that we need some longevity, right? In terms of the day by day process, we don't want to strike ourselves out in the first, you know, hour or two, because I want to be able to be around up until the close. So certain things I got to make sure to not neglect, not to forget. When I do start off green, size down a bit, because even when I'm having those green days, like if we go back to last week, right? There's things that I'm doing that things that I've mentioned, but not sometimes in the moment I might not say it, but there's things that I've mentioned throughout the time that we've been here, which is, hey, start the day right. I will start by scalping. Can we see some green trades on those scalps? Then can we reduce size slightly, right? Reduce size, protect those gains, make sure that in the consolidation we don't give back profits, try and capture those first two dip trades, and then from there wait, can we get the new high, or is it going to be the 5 minute pullback? And that way, it's like I have a bit of a system into the open, and so I can be more precise, more accurate on the momentum. That's what we did this week, and we had a very good week. We had a great week. So it's just a matter of tightening up and adjusting a little bit, which I feel good to do. And my accuracy definitely needs some work. This 45% is just not gonna cut it, right? With a 1-to-1, in fact, it's worse than a 1-to-1. So 45%, it's not gonna cut it. So yeah. How long it took you to become profitable? So Mitchell, it took me about 2.5 years to become profitable. So guys, as you're tuning in, hit that thumbs up button, right? There's 25 people watching. We got 12 likes. We'll usually go around 50 people on Sundays. So hit that thumbs up button. If you're a new viewer, consider subscribing as well, right? Check out the channel. Check out all the channel has to offer, right? There's a bunch of videos. This, I gotta make sure, and I'll pull this, I don't usually show this side of things, but yeah, it's not a problem. Yeah, so this video right here, right, that says strong mind, I'm gonna make sure that next time for the next video like that I do, I'm gonna make sure that the camera is good, right? Because I messed up with the recording, right? It didn't come out in full HD, which wasn't too good. 39 comments, which is interesting. We can probably read through a few of those here in the live stream. LMD, my man, what's up? What's up, guys? If you are in the community, right, check out LMD's channel, right? LMD posts his recaps every day. Sometimes he'll trade options, some of the large cap stocks. So if you do want to see a bit of a different perspective, be sure to check him out, man. Check him out. Check him out. In fact, I'll post a quick link here for his channel. Living my dream, trading. Living my dream. Get LMD past 200 subscribers, man. We can do it. We can do it right now. Let's make sure. Yeah, here's the link. Check him out. Check him out. LMD has been around for at least a year, let's say 6 months or more, right? It's been supporting the channel. Do I always watch the Trading Farmer? You know what? This on Friday I was telling myself, and I did watch a part of his video. Friday I told myself I need to watch him more because he's basically doing what I'm doing with more size, and some better resolve in the trade. Like in some areas, when he has that expectation, he's holding longer. It's one thing that I'm realizing that I need to do a better job of on the dips, not the breakouts. The breakouts I would say are fine because once the stocks have range, I can connect well. But on the dips, right, on the dips, those 1 minute pullbacks, I need to be in there, and I'm seeing him, 5,000 shares, right, 2,700, going up to 5K shares, 8K, 10K shares. But instead of just taking that 3, 4, 5 cents, waiting for that move to open up and get back to that key level, get back to that high. And so, with 5, 6, 7,000 shares, he might see, let's say 8 to 14 cents, where I'm just seeing, let's say 2 to 5 cents with that smaller size. And so there's certain things I'm picking up on that I'm noticing that I gotta, make that small. It's a small adjustment, right? But discipline definitely comes into play, and I think we can do it. So I've definitely been telling myself that's something I got to do a little bit more of. Sir Clive, what's going on, man? Yeah, we're sometimes YouTube is a little draining, right? Because of my schedule. Like I usually will trade. I'm up at 7. This is how my day will go. I'm up at 7:30 a.m. Right, 7:30 a.m. every day, regardless of what time the stream starts. I wake up at 7:30 a.m. and from there, we're ready for the open 9:30, and then it's all the way to 4 p.m. It's been like this for the last 3 months, right? And you guys, I think, will see the difference in my trading the last 3 months. We've been doing better numbers, right? So the consistency has been helping us. I've been watching on pre-market a lot of these days, just kind of seeing the action, because we have to conquer that that area. So being here, like when I shut down the live stream, right, I usually will leave for like 10 to 15 minutes, and then I come back, and then I'm here till 4 p.m. And so after four, in that time frame, the way how the market is that there'll be days where it's like down days. We don't really see much happen in between that time frame. There's other days you guys will see. Maybe I end the live stream up $200-300. I come back, I say, hey, I'm up 1,600. So it's like a trade off, right? Opportunity will cost always, but putting in that extra time, right, where we're seeing that better result, over the long run, right? And if we look at Trader View, we'll see that type of thing in the metrics where if we go to, let's go back the last 3 months to May, right? Filter, right? May, yeah. Well, I guess we're all right there. So time of day, look at this, right? Between 9:30 and 10:30 is still, giving us the bulk of the gains, but we're now seeing gains at more gains, let's say around the power hour, 2 p.m., 1 p.m. Look at 1 p.m., 3K. Usually, and when I first started trading, I would shut down after the first hour. If we clear this out, it's why there's such a big difference between the first hour and everything else. Everything is lagging behind, and I don't go that far into the day. So, yeah, let's see. Ever hold a trade overnight? TBLT looked good. You see, holding overnight, man, I don't know. I'm just not much of a swing trader. I feel like there's more risk holding longer in terms of these, penny stocks. How many stocks have we seen, like PGY, that will, close pretty decently into, into after hour, and then we come back on Monday, and it's down here to like $5.99, $6, down almost 40-50%. I feel like sometimes it's just hard to predict which ones will continue and which ones will not. And so for those reasons, I just like to trade the intraday charting, and then once it gets to power hour, I don't even trade power hour like that. I think I might have traded it once, and that was it. Raz, how much cash do I have in my account? I can't say because that's a security question, but what I can tell you is that it's over 25,000. All right. We've had that question multiple times. Pen, what's going on, man? Carlos, what's up? Carlos Pen. Raul. Let's see. What are you on track to make this year now that you've sized up? So it's always a little tough to say, because some of it does depend on the market sentiment. Some of it does depend on the type of opportunities that we see. But right now, if we go back to really and truly February 22nd is when we really figured out things this year. When things got choppy at the beginning of the year, February 22nd we figured things out and we started to do a little bit better. And since then we're averaging 264 per day. But if we come to the more recent months, right, and I want to get to 500,000 shares. Pay attention to this, right? We're at 108,000 on average since February 22nd. March, we're at 113,000 with 273. If we go to April, we're at 133,000 shares per day with 310. May, a little bit more, 153. Right, and so you see the trend right here. June, 183, and it jumps up to 392. July, 346, 166. So I want to push this to 500,000 shares, and I think if I trade 500,000 shares per day with what I'm doing now, especially with tightening up the entries a little bit, we'll start to see I think $1,000 plus here, right? Around 800 plus for sure. How much has Thinkorswim? I paid for I paid for net in the Trader View not so long ago. Um, I forgot how to check it on the broker itself, but it was, I believe, like maybe like $300-400 so far this year. The hidden fees are more than what they used to be, but it's still not bad considering the platform is free. Long term investing, LMD, man. Yeah, I agree. So RT, you need to start long term investing, but definitely not in small caps. Yeah, invest in companies you use daily and been around forever. Yeah, yep, without a doubt, right? So, you know, the only thing is with long term investing right now, it's like I feel like I need the cash to do other things, right? And maybe I could go small, right? Because I don't have any long term investments right now. Like one of the things I was thinking was to potentially go small and then dollar cost average in over time, even if it's just a few $100s per month or per quarter, like however I want to do it. But like right now, I'm thinking I want 25,000 to put into my next brokerage account for either Centerpoint or Cobra. More than likely Cobra, because Cobra I can get that discount, right? Because I want to be able to go short on the backside of the move on all of these stocks. So, you know, we'll see though, because sometimes, we can't leverage too much, right? We can't leverage too much. We can't forget the small things, right? We still got to look and see, okay, how can we manage and how can we potentially do both. So, yeah, I've thought about putting in small amounts. Like, I mean, when Tesla was around 600, man, I was very, very close to putting in some money. And then we'll see if it dips down again. I know the earnings was all right, but Facebook is another one that I'm keeping an eye on. I believe their earnings is on the 27th, which will be on Wednesday, or is it the 28th? I think next week, right? This week that's coming up. As a beginner trader, I'm still holding my losses too long. You are awesome with cutting your trades quick, if not going in the right direction. What helps you to cut your losers so quickly? This is a good question. I think one of the things that helped me, I would say in a lot of ways I actually got lucky in this sense, right? Because when I started trading, I started breakout trading, right? I never traded at support level. I started doing that, let's say, 10 months ago. And at support levels, the idea, right, part of the fundamentals inside of the support trade is to hold the trade over time, over minutes. You might be in a trade for 20 minutes, an hour, two, three, four. And so holding, and sometimes the way how it goes is that a stock could dip down below the support level by a small amount and then still crawl back up. And so it gets a little dicey because a lot of traders, they don't want to be too rigid to cut the trade and then see it go. And so it kind of creates that kind of a, let's say, bad habit in a sense, right? With the breakout trades, it's always been, hey, breakout or bail out. You need to be in and it needs to be going. If the stock is not going, sell immediately. And that concept has kind of been drilled into my head over time, and it's really helped me out with cutting trades quickly. So besides that though, you got to force yourself, man. Trading is so mental. It's a mental battle, and you got to force yourself mentally. You have to find a way to have that control, right? And one thing that I'll say with trading is that we can't just try to be disciplined in the markets. We got to be disciplined in our personal lives. We got to try to be our best in our personal lives as well, whether it's with going to the gym, like religion, relationships. I mean, anything you can name, right? At our jobs, like all of these different things, like we have to be consistent. We have to be disciplined, and so having that discipline all around helps you in the market as well, right? So if you're disciplined in the market, but then you're not disciplined in your personal life, it's like there's a contradiction there, and then you know there's like a negative overlap in one or the other, and so being consistent all around definitely helps me out. I try to be as consistent as I can, as best as I can. How many books have I read? I'm not too much of a big reader. I spoke to a friend recently, right? Shout out to my guy, Craig. Spoke to a friend, right? This is someone I know, like in real life, right? Personally, and it's like, okay, I want to get more into reading, but I've never really liked reading. Um, like I don't know, I just never have been a big reader throughout my life, and so it's like, okay, I was thinking maybe I can do more audiobooks to start, right? Like, there's a book I have right on my bed. It's called Rise and Grind by Damien. Is his name Damien? I think his name is Damien, right? On Shark Tank. And I have a book called, in fact, I'll go grab it. It's called Buy the Dip, right? Or The Dip. Yeah, it's called The Dip. I bought this book like 3 weeks ago, and let me see if this is showing clearly. I bought this book like 3 weeks ago, and I haven't even touched it yet. Seth Goodwin, The Dip. This one was recommended to me in the Discord. So, reading, I gotta get more in tune with that. More in tune with reading and dedicating more time to it. And I gotta try to be more consistent with it, right? So yeah, guys, keep the questions coming. If you're now tuning in, hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button. It's better to focus only on swing or day trading. You will never be the best at what you do unless you focus on one. So, okay, makes sense. And to be honest, like the only reason why I never really considered swinging or going into options yet is because there's so much more left to learn in this niche that we have right here that's called momentum trading. Like a year and a half ago, I do not see the market how I see the market now. Like I feel like back then it was much more simple. Like I was only like scratching the surface. But now I could see. Like if a guy like Ross does 10, 15, 20, 30K day, now I understand how and why and where and when. Before it's just like, dang, Ross did so good. How did he do it? But now I see. Now I can see it. And so once I can see it, you know what that means. I'm closer and closer than ever before. And we're right here, man. We're right here in this next bracket. And we just got to be dialed in. And as I mentioned, once we can tighten up on some of those key entries, those key trades, we'll start to see some much, much better days. Even better than what we've been seeing the last 2-3 weeks, the last month and a half. Like the better days have yet to come. There's bigger days on the horizon. Guys, we have 38 people tuning in. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing to the channel if you are a new trader here in the community. So let's see. Okay, or at least make sure you do your due diligence. Yeah, yep. You got to make sure you do your due diligence, man. You got to make sure, for each and every one of us, you have to do your research. I do know a few traders here in the community who will go and swing a stock from time to time, and they're doing pretty well. They're doing pretty well, but they have that knowledge, right? Whether they took a course for this stuff or whether they learned it over time on their own, whatever it might be. We do see some traders who are more versed, right? And we got to remember that everyone is at a different, place in the spectrum, right? In terms of, the timeline. Some of us have been trading for a few months, a few weeks, some a few years. Some are over 5 years, some over 10 years. If you've been doing it for 10, 15 years, you're probably a little bit better, right, than the people who are now starting. So, more than likely. Does anyone here trade whilst being a college student? Being in college or slash being a student, right? Jackson, when I first started, I was in college when I first started, and back then I was on Robinhood initially, and I remember going to school and being on the bus, and watching the chartings, and even taking a few trades on the phone. Looking back at it now, it's kind of funny, but man, it's interesting, man. Time is so interesting, man. I mean, wow. But anyhow, not to get off topic, but I would trade. I remember being in class at times, looking at candlesticks, and it came to a point where I stopped engaging in what was going on in class. And I started like enjoying the market more. And this might sound pretty crazy, but for those of you who don't know, I dropped out of school to day trade. It came. I mean, it was like, I would be in class, and I would be watching Ross. Like, I don't know. Like it's like for me, I was going to school, and Jackson, by any means, I'm not saying to drop out of school, right? I'll make sure to say that clearly. Um, but I would be in class watching Ross and watching recaps, watching live videos, and it's like, man, it was just so intriguing, so interesting. It's almost as if I was like enticed, right? And so, it was I decided, like, it took me like 3 months to make the decision, like, for sure, because I was at Rutgers, and I was getting like straight A's. I had a 3.6 GPA, right? So out of four, I was at a 3.6, which is basically straight A's. And I was like, yeah. And I stopped to trade in the sim, so I wasn't even profitable or anything yet. So I took on all. Imagine doing that and then failing, right? Nothing is wrong with failing, because if you don't take the risk, then you will never know. But that would not have been good, because I'd have to go back and retake those same classes. I didn't even wait for the semester to finish. That's how I was going for it, man. And it turned out pretty good. Right now we're making $50,000 a year every year, right? Or at least on average, right now. That's the pace that we're doing, and we're so early in the journey, right? It's like I can't imagine 5 to 10 years from now what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be the green days are gonna just be awesome, man. But if you're in school, you gotta have that balance. You gotta make sure that you're not trading in class. That's the right thing to do, right? Trade. Let's say you have morning classes. You want to make sure you trade coming into the afternoon after your classes are finished, because you have to focus, right? If you're in class and your professor say, hey, put a computer away, if they notice you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, or whatever it might be, before you know it, you're stuck in a trade. Like, we need to be absolutely, like, locked in without distractions, really. So you can't afford to be trading in class or any of that stuff. So, but Jackson, man, it's everyone usually will tell me, who are a little older, will say, man, I wish I started when I was your age. So I guess we're ahead of the game in some sense, because the market will be here, and so we just have to put ourselves in position to try and just do better. And I guess it doesn't matter what age you do start, because it's better to start than better late than never is the saying. Moses, no pre-market trades right now. In fact, tomorrow we'll probably see some, depending on what type of momentum we get. I have been back watching pre-market the last few days. Let's see. Did I miss anything from earlier? Tim, I knew I woke up my nap for a reason. That's what I'm talking about, man. Hey, big shout out to Tim. Tim is in the building. Yeah, we can take a look at some. We can take a look at some live trading. We did do a long video talking about PGY, PIK. This one, okay, it looks like it did. How did it do? PIK. This stock, I did not have a good experience with it on March 17th. This week was the beginning, and it's so funny. This week was the beginning of a very tough week for me personally as well. Back here, I had something else that happened to me. So you know, when you guys check out that video that I made today, we have to be to be strong minded, right? So whenever something happens in our personal life, and we threw examples out there in the videos like let's say the loss of a job, um, a death in the family, like maybe if you're going through divorce, like there's so many different things that could happen to someone, and it's like if you're relying on trading as a source of income, you're relying on it for savings or whatever it might be, if you're trying to get to profitability, right? The more time we are away from the market, it's like the longer, in essence, it's like the longer it'll take for us to get to where we want to be. So are there ways to have are there ways to be dialed in whilst having something going on, right? Because there could be ongoing issues in our personal lives that could last for months, years. So it was a very, very, very interesting video, man. And so we got to be strong minded. PIK came, and well, let's pull up TraderView. PIK March 17th. This we had a let's see. We had an interesting start to the year, and so March was going very, very good. Right, we finally started picking it up, and let's go to the 14th first. I'm pretty sure we had a bunch of good days. Let's see, detailed. Yeah, so from the 1st to the 14th, we did 3,500. We're at 350 per day, and we're still trading small shares here. Just 46,000 shares per day, and we get to the 16th, right? Let's go to the calendar. So we get to the 16th, we have a green day again, and then I told myself, okay, I want to get aggressive with my share size starting tomorrow, right? And so we had a good cushion, 1,400, 1,100. We had some good days, right? USEG, ENSV, and I increased size, and I felt like I was holding a little too long on the 17th and the 18th. And watch this right here. Boom, boom, red days, 900, 600, an absolute slap in the face. And then this Saturday is a day I'll never forget. And this week was a disaster. It's basically reminded me of what kind of happened now. So it's like being dialed in is always key. But one thing I'll always say is that we have to be relentless. We have to be relentless. It's funny because when I chose this name, Relentless, I never really planned it. I just thought it sounded cool, and it's like it matters, man. It matters how relentless we are, because you see this process right here of sizing down, and then the losers get smaller. 900, 600, we start to trend backwards, right? The green gets bigger, right? The green gets bigger. And then when the red starts to get bigger, we do what's necessary, and we start trending back. It's like we double back. We retrace our steps. Wait, hold on. What's happening here? What can we do to make things right? How can we adjust? And then we go small. This day, for those of you, there was someone who mentioned, hey, you should rename Friday's video to FOMO with RT, right? Let's look at the comments really quickly here, and then we'll get back here to some other stuff. Let's see here, comments. Let's see, where is it? I might have responded to it already. Yeah, I think I might have responded. Anyhow, there's a comment that was saying you might as well call today FOMO with RT, right? And so that was for Friday that just passed. This day right here is the equivalent to what Friday was for me. We had ALLG. Man, ALLG, what was that, March 24th. Look at this. Sometimes it's like inside my mind, I just need the green day, and I know what it means if I go back red, right? I'll be very, very disappointed in myself, and maybe it even leads to me being emotional, right? Look at this right here. This stock had all-time highs over 13.39, and from 13.39 it went to 23.91. I sat here with my fingers crossed and watched it go the entire way after seeing entry after entry after entry after entry after entry, and knowing how much I should have been green. But it's like a fear inside of me, knowing what's going on, and like if I do go back red, what it means. Because despite the stock being strong, the risk is always on the other side of the trade. So it's like on one side, it's like I know myself well, but still we can't afford to let this go through our fingers. So it's like I'm green $20 on this day when I should be up like 2K 1500, and then Friday I'm green $100 when I should be up another 2-3K, right? So those days don't happen often though. It's like I would say it happened like 5 times maybe throughout the years for different reasons. But it's like still too many times altogether, because in day trading, sometimes one day can make your career, right? We've heard Ross say that, like, you could potentially have a green day where, let's say on average I'm doing 200, but I have a green day where I probably do like 20K in one day, and it really boosts me up on the year a decent amount. Like, that stuff is not, it's, in fact, not only is it not impossible, but it's not that far fetched from thinking that it could happen, especially with those trades at the lows, right? So let me get back to the comments right here. Do you think after hour trading can be as profitable as the AM trades? I think so, right? I think so, and more. The number one thing is consistency. You have to be consistent with it. We've had opportunities in after hours, and I've noticed that whenever power hour is very weak, let's say from like 2 p.m. 2:30 p.m. into the power hour, into the close, when that area is weak, oftentimes we see a strong after hours. And if you're if you're there, you're consistent, you understand how the volume is moving, and how stocks usually move up, I think you can definitely capitalize, because the market is all about trends and different like sentiment. Like, there'll be months or weeks on end where pre-market is good, there'll be weeks and months on end where after hours is good, intraday is good, and it switches around every so often. So I think it comes down to consistency. Hamster, to this day, right? Well, let me read the question out loud. What did your parents think when you told them you wanted to drop out of college and day trade? Everyone thought I was a madman. No, I'm just kidding. But to this day, it's like everyone in the household is like, every household, like from extended family to close family, and like everywhere in like my family tree, like school is like school is the thing. Like going to school, making sure that you have good knowledge, good education, and then you know finding something you like, hopefully, right? Hopefully, I'll say, and like creating a good income for yourself, like being able to be comfortable, being able to grow up, be comfortable, and support yourself, eventually support your family, that type of thing. And it's, I don't think it's like when I look at this situation, I don't really blame anybody for thinking that way, because it's like it's all that they know, in a sense. Like, if we really think about how much things have changed in the last like 20 years, like the internet, like what was really the internet 20 years ago, back in like 2002, this concept of we had like the dot-com boom and stuff like, but the concept of like the internet was so new, like no one really could have comprehended where it would have went, you know. And so what I'm doing right now is pretty new. Brokers are people who buy and sell stocks. Now a broker is a software. It's an app on my cell phone, it's an app on my computer that I can log into and have a third party license and trade stocks. This is new, and so I think it's all right that people don't really understand it. It's like if someone is doing, I mean, it's just not traditional yet, right? But I think over time, as like more and more millennials come about, like stuff like this will be normal. I mean, we saw during COVID how everyone was home and we're looking for different ways to make money. They turned to online stuff, whether it's like Amazon businesses and drop shipping and so many of these different things. Like there's ways to make money other than doing a traditional job. Like my mother wanted me to be a nurse, right? Like I was interested in science and like biology, but when I came across this, like that stuff was like, like meant nothing anymore. So they weren't happy. I mean, to this day, I'll hear, when are you going back to school? You should go back to school. You should get. I would, man. What I see right now in this market, the chances of me going back to school is very like the only type of school I would go to, like at least for and maybe that will change in the future. Maybe it could change. I don't know, but for now, the only school I see myself going to is a school centered around day trading and maybe like mastery of like emotions, mastery of like, but I don't even know, that is not even I mean, even down to that, it's like not necessary because I see it now. Like I see what I need to do. So knowing what the potential is, I mean, this stuff is weird because people don't really like to talk about money. Like if you ever really go to an adult, it's like people don't really like to talk about how much money they make, how they did last month, what they did on the year. Like it's like taboo. Like it's like that type of stuff is not supposed to be talked about. But and so it's also interesting because I don't like going to people and saying stuff either because I don't want to come off as like bragging and like it's weird. It's just a little weird dynamic in terms of like do I want to go announce to my household that hey, today I'm green 500, hey, I'm red 5, some of it is not really necessary, but this whole field here is so new. And like when I talk to my relatives about how I'm doing, I'll just tell them I'm doing well. That's all I usually say. Like, hey, how's the market? Oh, I see. Or they'll be watching 7 o'clock news. The Dow Jones is down 700 points today. Oh man, you must have had a hard day today. And I guess I could take that time to like, kind of really, really dial in and show them what I do. But I just keep it surface level. Like, yeah, it was a good day. Yeah, it was a slow day. Well, the day wasn't so good. I'm red. Just I just keep it to the minimum. So, do you think market changes is the cause of getting losses? The number one, okay, the number one factor I see that causes losses, one is myself. If I could be as disciplined as a robot, if I could be like programmed to do the right thing, like do what I know how to do, right? Even with some of the trades having some levels of like intuition, but if I do what I should do, what I know how to do, I could cut out so many of the losses because a lot of the losing trades are like mistakes, mistakes. Like I had a trade on Friday where I thought the low was 52, but it was actually the high of the candlestick. Like certain simple things that's really not supposed to happen. If I'm to really be disciplined every day, will eliminate a lot of red trades. So a lot of these red days are over trading, coming back with too much size. Like simple thing, holding like these 2 days right here, holding too long. January and February, right? January and February, Q4 of last year, holding for 40 seconds on average, right? Holding for 40 seconds on average was working very well in Q4 of 2021. We were in a hotter market. Things slowed down a little bit coming into the new year, and I had to size down and take quicker trades. When I got aggressive right here, I started holding longer again, and that's what resulted. Like if you go back throughout these red days, you'll see that I was up like on some of these trades, and I was up 200, 300, not selling. Like why am I not selling up 10, 15 cents in a trade? You know? And so rightfully so, the market says, what are you doing? And then on the other half of it is the market. There'll be days where you take an A quality trade and it blazes you. That will happen, and that will never stop happening, you know? Like look at this. No matter how we want to say time of day, like this is the power hour. Who cares? Like this is the power hour. Okay, it's not the first hour, but it's the power hour. And you know, maybe you could have been accumulating a small position right here on this pullback, thinking that the stock is going to go through high of day. You know, look at what it does, from 13.75 down to $12 in less than 1 minute. Is this our fault? The answer is no. You know, and maybe there could have been somebody who said, hey, I really like this setup. We just had a clean pullback. This is how it can go sometimes. Hey, we just had a clean pullback. I think this area here is going to give another clean pullback, right? You can buy for the new high, which was at 13.66. We hit a high of 75. If you're not looking to take that 8-10 cents, that 8 to 10 cents, if you're not looking to take that because you might be thinking, hey, it's going to go and retest 14.17, guess what? You lost $1 a share in the blink of an eye, you know, if you're in there and you didn't get to come out in time. Sometimes it's the market, sometimes, right? But more times I believe it's us. Will my current gains allow me to move out eventually? I can't make the switch to full-time trading. So having a mortgage, a car payment, family, health insurance. This is a good question. I mean, this is a great question. Like to be honest, I mean, it depends on like if I'm to move out like today, I feel like it just depends because I have savings. Like it depends. It depends on how much my rent would be, and I mean, I think I could make it happen. I think if I had to do it tomorrow, I would feel comfortable in myself. I'd feel confident in myself to make it happen. But, you know, one thing I always tell myself is that I can always go back to work. Like, I can go back to work tomorrow, you know, essentially. And so, even if that means, like, I can decide, okay, if I want to do, let's say, 2 p.m., I can do the day shift, right? The day into the night shift. Let's say something that's 2 p.m. to like 11 p.m., right? Like when I used to work at Amazon, I used to do 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., right? Or maybe I want to say, hey, I'll do something part-time because I don't want to miss any of the market hours. Let's do 5 to 10 p.m. And I would have to look a little bit, but you know, I'm pretty sure I can get something. And the extra income, there's the weekends as well. Like the weekends, you know, if I want to, I can still work, and that's how I can work full-time and still trade. Let's say I do 5 to 10, right? If I do 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., 5 days a week, right? That'll give me 25 hours. Then 2 10-hour shifts on Saturday, Sunday, you know, full time, and we'll have you know, the day job go. I mean, yeah, it's definitely doable, right? It's definitely doable. There's different ways to go about it as well, you know, depending on if I want to cut into the market hours or wait till afterwards. LMD asking RT, what was your best trade to date out of the sim, and a worst trade? Okay, the worst trade to date. I'll start off with the worst trade. The worst trade to date was, I believe, and you know, I think it has to be this one, January. Where's that $900 red day? Was it here? Was it Wednesday? RELI? Maybe it wasn't Wednesday. Monday. There was a huge loss on ISIG, I think. I thought it was one of these 2 days. I might be mistaken. This was a pretty poor day in itself, but let's see. Where is that? Where is it? There was a trade. Let me go on to YouTube. There's a trade that I have in mind, and we can watch it too. I mean, it was such an obvious failing trade that I can't understand to this day why in the world I thought it was a setup that I should have took and then take with big size. Like, what was I thinking, man? So let's see. Let's pull up the channel. All right, let's pull up the channel and let's go to videos. Let's go back to January, right? Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's see. INDO. Hold on. A little too much. Somewhere around here. Well, okay, no. Let's go back some more. A little bit more. Where is it? This one, yeah. This day right here, man. What a poor trade. What a poor trade this was. I'm disappointed to this day that I allowed myself to take a trade like this. Watch this trade, LMD. Watch this trade. Watch this terrible trade, man. So, right here, this is a place for confirmation. First of all, look at the price of the stock. You know, I wanted to try to be aggressive, right? Right now, it's why, like, a loss like this is why I'm able to use, like, 2,000 shares, 1,500 shares, 2,500 shares on these same stocks now, you know? So it wasn't a complete disaster, but, you know, it's still a disaster nevertheless, because look at this 5-minute candle, right? It's red, and we have high of day volume on a red candle. Like, to heck with the bottoming wick. We're on a bear flag on the one. It's a low flag, right? Because of this halt resumption, the way how the candle opened, we opened and sold off, and it was a low flag. If I wanted to take an entry here, I needed to size down and watch the halt resumption, right? If we were to put a trend line coming across, you'll see that it dipped right down into the previous halt level, right? And then bounced up. And you know, if we want to guess, maybe that was like around maybe like 27, $1 a share bounce. And so I don't know what I was thinking to be this aggressive, because there's a high risk this fails, and that's exactly what happens here. First 1-minute candle to make the new high, 28.50, I believe. Look at the spreads. Let's look at this thing. 28.50. I'm long at 28.41, and immediately $1 a share drop. Let's look. 25 on the bid. You see that red? Immediately, $800 loss. Look at my reaction right here, man. Let's move the camera. This is me looking at my P&L after the trade. Man, you know, sometimes you gotta roll with the punches. You know, it's like, you know, when the market is slow like how it was too, it doesn't feel good, man. It does not feel good. This was December 29th, actually. It wasn't in January. Yeah, so you should take a week break if you don't feel good. You know, back here I was feeling a little under the weather. Noah, our man Noah, take a week break. Now, best trade. I don't know if there's a best trade. There's been a lot of good trades. You know, on our bigger green days, we've seen a lot of like excellent trades. one of these days we had a trade. It might have been this day actually. There was a trade off the low that was really impressive, man. Let's see. Yeah, it's actually this day. This is when I like back here. I was like 2 months into trading the dips, right? So you see how long I'm working on this process of trading the dips, because my goal is to be able to try and use bigger sizing, right? Just now we just literally mentioned, and isn't it funny, right? On that losing trade of 800, I just said the place to be in the stock is at the previous halt level, because in this market I've noticed this working so many it can't be coincidence at this point. Like, it's worked like 10 times, and that's why I'm like, okay, if despite us seeing some bigger red candles, when we come down to the previous halt level, we're seeing the stock holding. And so right here I'm in at 1188. I had my stop in place. I was very green on the day. I was risking like $200 in the trade or something. This is probably one of the best trades, in terms of trades at the lows. I'm in at 88, and over time, it's small sizing, right? I'm in at 80. What was that? 83 rather. I'm in at 1183. The stock is now at 1276. I'm up almost $1 a share. This one was pretty good. I don't remember if it curled up. I don't think it curled through the highs. I don't think it did. 13, 15. Also, I added back somewhere in there, and then it curled up. So we had the red to green going, and I'm up now $1 a share again on a new position. So this is a great example as to how powerful the trades at the lows could be. Scalping for that 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 cents at a time is great. And some days the stocks are so strong that we'll get 50 cents at a time. But there's nothing like being up $1 a share in a trade. In at 12.15, the stock is at 13.15. In at 11.83, and it's like it's really, really, really impressive. And the goal is to do this enough to where I'm consistent and confident, and instead of this being 500, it's 5,000 shares, and we can make 10,000 on this area of the stock. That will come. Mark my words, man. It will come. It doesn't have a choice. Right now we're on the road to greatness. We're on the road to greatness, and it will come. So yeah, those are the two, in terms of best trade and maybe worst trade. They're very close together. And when you're too aggressive, sometimes you're blinded by. You have to. I mean, it's so hard, man. But just like, you can't be distracted by anything. You have to be so level-headed at all times, or else we have a big blow up, right? Which is exactly what that loss was. So you're learning lessons as we go. Can't be perfect, but making the adjustments as we go. So yeah, moving on to the next couple of questions. It took some time on that one, but I think rightfully so. I'll put my camera back up here. All right, there we go. Sir Clive, do you see yourself sizing up with 10 to 20,000 shares with Thinkorswim, or would I have to move to CMEG, or maybe a different broker in general? So if I'm ever, this is how I will switch brokers immediately, right? If I'm ever in a trade with that size and I can't get fills, and it's like a market order, we've heard some stories of that happening to people, like, which is just insane, right? If that ever happens to me, I'll be out of here the next day. I wouldn't even waste time, man. They'll just see all my cash balance going back to my bank, and I'll be out of here. Your losers have to be smaller than your winners. That's exactly what makes you profitable. I agree. Definitely true. Let's go on. Let's come on down. Let's see. I think the real edge in trading is having other income as well. Yeah, having other income in trading, like, to be financially free, we need, they say, 6 sources of income. We definitely need other income, because it gives you peace of mind. Like, if you're trading right now and you have to, like, pay bills, and it's like, oh man, if I'm not green today or this week, I can't do such and such, it's not good. It's a recipe for disaster. You know, it's tough. So other income, right? Multiple streams of income. We have to have multiple streams of income. Lightspeed is more affordable with better executions. Only if they would go to $1 commission, man. If that was my worst trade ever, you'll give me a pat on the back. I had a trade in the sim where I was down 2K in a very similar situation, and I took 2,000 shares or 2,500 shares in that trade. But that day was a disaster because I overtraded, and then I came back and tried to make back money. And I came back with big size. You know, so you guys will see this theme continue if you know, if we don't keep the discipline, the market will forever be correcting us in our ways. Like the market will give us chance after chance after chance to correct the right thing. Right? We have to make the adjustment. If not, we'll be stuck in the same place, and you know, we start talking about insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting better results, different results. So I came back, I was down 500, came back with big size, which I shouldn't have done, you know, revenge trading, and made back 300. Was down $200. Took that one last trade in at 865. I blinked. I looked back at the level. I literally blinked, right? Looked back at the level 2 from 865 to 765 in the blink of an eye. You know, even it was even faster than that trade we just took a look at. And man, I remember that day going into the backyard, and this is at the old house, just sitting down, like man, like how could I make it if I'm doing, you know, how can I make it and I'm doing stuff like that? Tough times. T-Dog, let's see. Don't always get 6-time leverage on all symbols. Deeply, hey man, found your channel recently. Was just wondering if you use algorithmic trading with the Thinkorswim scripts. No, I do not. No, I do not. Right now, everything is just all manual. You know, just me in the markets. There's some people who will utilize the you know, the coding aspect. Like there's some of you guys who are coming from different backgrounds, whether it's like tech. We even had someone from law enforcement too. I mean, it's interesting when we talk to some of you guys, man. You guys are bringing your knowledge from prior fields and really applying it well into the markets. It's pretty impressive what a lot of you guys have been doing, man. We had some conversations, right? Spoke to a ton of people over the years, and it's pretty cool to see. Let's see. Rockling is in the building. Guys, also be sure to check out Rockling's channel, right? Rockling is in the early stages of his day trading journey. Be sure to check out his channel. I'll post the link here as well. We posted the link for LMD. Now we're going to post the link for Rockling, you know, showing some support to all the relentless traders that are in the building, man. What I'll also do, you know, being that we're on the subject of links, I'll also post a few more. Let's see. Well, before I do that, let's see here. Sim account on CMAG. You cannot sell your positions in after hours. I had a large position once going into after hours that was up like 7K. The next day logged in and was down unrealized, man, over 170K. What type of a drop off was that, man? We also got triad trading in the building, so I got a few links to post for sure. All right, I'll get to it. I'll get to those links. Be faster or the algorithmic trading. You know, my older brother, right, the eldest of us, he's a software engineer, and if he's to ever get into the market, it'll be he's a very smart guy, very smart guy. It'll be interesting to see how he utilized the scripts if he's to ever come into trading. I mean, he mentioned that type of stuff before. Like he I mean, we'll see. All right, that'll be interesting if that's to ever happen. Could I build could we build an algo to trade exactly how I trade? It'd be tough, but maybe it's possible. I don't know. Could we funnel all my data into into an engine and have it crunch down the numbers and do what I do, cut the losses how I cut the losses, and will it be profitable, will it work? I use a lot of intuition, but there's a lot of interesting things for sure. Yeah, guys, so be sure to check out Rocking's channel. Computer science major and super helpful being able to code trading strategies. Yeah, I hear you for sure, man. You guys and you guys see the market. I realize the people who are coming in with those type of backgrounds, a lot of the times you guys see the market through the lens of the market makers, right? And that's a very good thing, right? When we talk about like the imbalances and that type of stuff, it's really 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 good, right? Like after 4 years, I'm now only like now getting into it. Embroidery, multiple streams coming up once again. Multiple streams, man. You know, I'm gonna get there, man. I'm gonna get there. Slow and steady. I'm gonna enjoy the process. Not gonna rush anything. Software engineer here, 25 years. Nice, man. So, and I'm guessing it's pronounced Dwayne, right? Dwayne, Dwayne V. Software engineer, man. Pretty nice. So I'll post a few links. And guys, I've it's sometimes it's a little disappointing, that I don't really stay on course with the YouTube content. But there will be a video tomorrow, right? I have to make sure I do it tomorrow. I'm going over the updates on the Mometic platform. So I'll post a link for the Mometic scanner, right? That's the scanner I use. I'll pull it over here. This is the scanner that I use intraday during market hours to get my gap scan, and then to get my let's say watch list, uh, high of day momentum stocks, halted stocks. I do have some conditional alerts, and there's also other features that comes along with the platform. So you guys can check it out, right? No pressure, but you guys can check it out if you are in need. The Discovery Plus is the one that I'm using, right? The feature that I'm using, right? You guys can check it out. Code Relentless for 25% off for 6 months. And then I'll post a link for the Discord, and we'll get back to it, right? The Discord, the YouTube and Facebook pages. I posted a picture to the Facebook and Instagram page recently. I believe yesterday. A vacation picture, so some of you guys might have enjoyed that. So in the Discord, and I think we should mention this a little bit. In the Discord, we had a bit of a back and forth recently, right? So there are traders in there, right? Who some agree, like the Discord, we have traders who are, let's say, in all sides of the spectrum, right? In terms of like what type of gains they will produce, in terms of consistency, and so forth, right? So we'll have some traders who are beginners, who are newer to the market. There's some people who might be a little bit more intermediate. Let's say they've been around the market for some time now. Maybe they might be flat. Maybe they might be slightly green or slightly red, right? There's a lot of different like categories we can really kind of say. Right now we do have some traders who are green, who might be doing a few dollars every day. Let's say like maybe $50 a day, $20 a day, $10 a day, $100 a day, right? Then like there's like that next tier. Let's say from $100 a day to like 500 a day, and then maybe from 500. It all depends on share size and these type of things, right? There's some variables that go into it. So we had an issue where like we had some traders who were posting some bigger P&Ls, and then that's some of the community members, not really knowing if these individuals who are posting the bigger P&Ls are, let's say, fully transparent, right? Fully, yeah, let's use the word transparent. I think that's the best way to go about it, right? And for me, being the leader, being the being the owner of the Discord, I've always looked at things from different point of views, right? I never want to just be on one side or the other. It's a matter of, okay, how does this party here feel, right? How does the left hand side feel? How does the right hand side feel? And what is the common ground, right? So there were some things I was thinking about. Like I had some conversations with a few of you guys behind the scenes, and it's like, hey, some discords out there, and I'm pretty I'm cool with beginner trading too. Like I'll talk to him too and see what he does for these type of issues. Like there's some chat rooms who they don't post any P&Ls at all, right? And it's like, I don't know if that's the best way of doing things, right? I allow people to be able to share two things: memes, well, three things, right? Memes, links, right? Or I guess we can put those two together, right? Links and screenshots, basically. Links and screenshots. So being a blue member in the Discord, right? And it's kind of like organized based off of color coding, right? So you'll see, if I pull it over here quickly, like there'll be a few people who are like white name, there'll be the blue name, there's the red name for the moderators, the green for the admins. There's a few other colors in there as well. And the blue members are allowed to post those links. And so, there could be a few changes. I've thought about a few things. One of the members who we had some issues with, they mentioned that, hey, on Monday I'll show you guys, what's really going on. And so I think that's pretty cool of them because, at the end of the day, like for me, I'm the only person here who's really like on YouTube and putting it on the line, And so we want to have a safe space, man, a safe space, a cool space where there's no pressure. So I really appreciate that the individual is going to go, and show everyone. And so we'll see what happens. And I do have a lot of things I want to put in place depending on how things turn out, right? So we'll be watching on. But nothing drastic, though. Just some simpler things. And if there's anybody who ever wants to reach out to me, like I know in bigger chat rooms, like we have these profitability badges and all these type of things like that. Like we could create a system like that potentially, right? Like none of that is off the table, right? Where maybe I talk to someone one-on-one, and if they're comfortable sharing their information with me, we can go ahead and do something like that. And I'll give them a specific like badge. I mean, there's so many options, right? But all in all, we want to keep the space safe, man. When I'm in the Discord, it's all about learning. It's all about helping, and that's the main thing, right? We just want to be there for each other because trading is a lonely field. That's the number one reason why the Discord is even there. Trading is a very, very lonely field, and there's not a lot of people who are in connection with each other, right? We've had people in there who are from different states, whether Florida, New York, right, California, Texas, and it's bringing people together. I spoke to a few people on the phone who are living in my neighborhood, actually, and big shout out to Peter. Peter lives in Dubai and came to New York and offered to buy me drinks. I mean, it's so, we do not want to underestimate the power of the Discord, right? The power of the YouTube streams, right? The sense of community. So I will make sure to put things in place so that everything is a little bit more smooth, right? It's all about having a good time, learning. That's it. And, as I mentioned, I'm going to stay firm, right? I want to make sure, ever since we had that issue in the YouTube stream a few months ago, where we had a few people who were just kind of back and forth, despite the warnings. Now, now it's like, I don't really want to give warnings nowadays. Like now it's like, if you're not following the rules, then that's just it, So we'll keep it simple. We'll keep it classy. Sir Clive, no man, no, without a doubt. It's all about pacing myself, man. I don't want to get burned out at all. All about pacing myself, taking rest when it's necessary. We have 47 people watching on, guys. I appreciate everyone tuning in. If you're a new viewer, consider subscribing. Hit that thumbs up button. We answered a good amount of questions, and now we're seeing more conversations. So what I'm gonna do right here is to just have a bit of a closing statement, right? I'm gonna talk a little bit about my game plan for tomorrow, how I want to approach the market, and what my aim will be. And so to get into that, right? It's been a decent week, right? Sometimes in the moment, I can be frustrated, I can be disappointed in myself, but it's why I love to do a recap, right? And a recap is a summary of the day, a revision of the day. I go over my trades, how did I do, how did I perform, and the recap really tells me the story, you know. And all of those days, those red days, or those 3 red days were close days, very, very close. I mean, the difference between being red and green is just so small, you know. And not to get into it too much, but I mentioned longevity throughout the day. Some of those days, if I keep the loss to a minimum, or if I'm slightly green, we're able to stick around. We saw some great opportunities on those days around 1, 2, 3 p.m. So it's like if I wasn't able to get it done, early in the morning, I would have had a chance to get very green as we had more momentum later in the day. So that's going to be one of my main focus tomorrow, right? And I'm going to write a few things down on my sticky pad right here. I'm going to start off with longevity, right? I'm going to mention that. Hey, pace yourself throughout the day. Just as Sir Clive mentioned, although he's talking more on a macro, right? On a macro level, bigger level, in terms of a daily, day-by-day basis on a micro scale, I want to pace myself. So I'm going to write down the word longevity here, right? Right, pace yourself throughout the day. Right, that's the first thing I want to write down. I've noticed that on the 1 minute pullbacks, I've been getting in some great entries, and I haven't been letting my winners open up enough, right? So I want to put down here on the 1 minute dips, be willing to hold a little longer, right? Because the key with the dip is that you're in low, so that you can afford to hold a little longer to let the stock go. So instead of just taking 3 cents, $75, hey, wait, be more patient. Take 8 cents, 10 cents, because some of these trades are coming up 10, 15 cents, and I'm getting out just for 3, 4 cents. On the 1 minute dips, be willing to hold a little longer, right? Keep that break even stop if we come down. So I encourage everyone, like these sticky pads, right, are pretty good. I encourage everyone, and I have notebooks too. Like I have a bunch of stuff that will help me to just have a to-do list for the day, bullet points for trading, like all these stuff. So I would recommend it. It helps you to really remember what you want to do and how you want to do it, right? So that's the second thing I want to put down. And this one is up there already, but if I come back later in the day, small size. Let's not rush things. And be very honest with yourself, right? Be very honest with yourself and don't force trades, right? Be honest with yourself. Don't force trades. When I get burned out, it's mentally. It's like whenever I have a red day, like some of the days I've had, it's more so because I get frustrated with myself for not doing the right thing, right? And one of the losses that I took on Thursday, I came back and I was using small size initially. I had like two winning trades, and then I decided to size up. Okay, so far I'm following the plan. But when I sized up, I tried like four times, didn't see a green trade. All my trades were flat. I didn't make any progress. I didn't lose any progress. But I had the thought in my head like, man, it's like I should have been able to see some sort of green with this bigger size with all those trades I just took. This is not trending in the right direction here. I should size back down until we can see something more obvious again. I had that thought. I ignored it. I still tried to push too. Like I tried to push too hard. What happened? That very next trade, I'm in a decent area. The stock just ended up, the bids kind of just flushed down. With that big size, it wiped out all those smaller gains that I just had, put me right back into the red again. And it's like, are you kidding? And like the loss was just $100 loss. Right? I was in with 2,500 shares. I lost 4 cents. But more so than the loss, it was just the mental side of it, of me knowing what was so likely to happen and still pushing through. Right there, you know what I had to do? I X'd out my computer. I X'd out everything. Because it's just a frustration with myself. Right? That's what really happens like on some of the days where I'm making the mistakes. Right? We talk about when are you likely to be red. Is it you or is it the market? Or is it both? And so the market we can't control. Right? The market is like the ocean. Some days there's gonna be some nice smooth sailing. Other days it might be a little bit more rough. I mean, there are days where we see so many false breakouts, right? We can say those are the days where we're seeing those big waves and whatnot. But going out into the ocean in my boat, I can control so many things. I can make sure that my maintenance is good. I can make sure that I have good fuel. Like, I everything that you're supposed to check for, I can do. Make sure that I'm sailing in the right direction. Like all these different things, right? And if it ever happens that the market just throws a big wave at me and I take that big loss, then that's fine. I did what I was supposed to do, and that's all that matters. Because once I continue to do that and then be disciplined, in the long run, I will be consistent. We've already proven that over the years, right? And I think it's why, like, I've seen interviews online, podcasts. There are people out there who only have like 10 red days a year. There's 250 trading days. Sometimes they'll only have like 10 red days in the year. It's because they're so, like, mentally, their mental fortitude is just so strong around those concepts, right? That routine of making sure that they are doing what they are supposed to be doing, So these are some of the key points I want to focus on for tomorrow. And I think I'll be good to go, right? I need to be honest with myself. And don't force the trades, right? Don't force the trades. Another thing is that at the lows, I can be willing to get back out for that small loss, for that lower average if the stock is going to continue to come down. Be willing to get back out, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not paying commissions, right? That's another thing. Sometimes, like, we'll hear from people like, hey man, sometimes the commissions kind of like entice me to hold that trade a little longer to see if we can get the follow through. It's like, I don't even have that as an excuse. So it's like, get out, get back in. Like, what's the big deal? Be willing to get back out, man. Noah, my man. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. So I appreciate everyone tuning in. We had 66 people at one point. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Hit that thumbs up button, guys. Hit that thumbs up button. This is where we're looking to wrap it up a bit, right? We spoke a little bit about our trader view. It's been a decent year. We gotta improve though. The back half of the year will be better. We had a rough start, man. Strong Q4, but then a rough start, right? So we're looking to improve. We're looking to be better. We've been getting better day after day, month after month, and so that's what we're gonna continue to do, right? You know, and when we look back at this month right now, right, when we look back at July, you know, I was up 5,500. I've given back a little bit off the top, so I had a bit of a haircut. Okay, cool. Let's go to the calendar. So we have, and I didn't import for Friday, which I was green $100, I think. Maybe like, let's import. Let's import here. Let's see. Let's go back to Wednesday. Let's import everything from Wednesday coming forward. So TraderView ignores the duplicate trades, right? TraderView ignores the duplicate trades. I'll pull it over here really quickly just to import, and I'll come back. Documents. Boom, boom, boom. Upload. There we go. There we go. Reports view. Calendar. Yeah, so we were green 109. All right. Yeah, so you know we're gonna shape it up a little bit. We're gonna shape it up. We're gonna get to where we gotta be. It's interesting to see that I'm this green on the month and have so many red days. You know, it's very odd. But we did have that one green day of like 3K. So you know, but yeah, we missed Friday last week with USEA. So we're gonna look to finish out the month strong. All right, we're gonna look to finish out the month strong. We're gonna be here. We're gonna be relentless. And you know, week 4. What's it gonna be? I mean, you know, I'm always optimistic, man. I have every right to be, and I mean, we could completely dominate this next week depending on how the momentum is. I mean, we could absolutely dominate this week. This could be a 5K week. This could be a 10K week. I mean, who knows? You know, what type of momentum are we gonna get? If we see momentum like we had on Friday, I think we're gonna look very, very good. Now we don't know for sure. It could be a little slow, but we're gonna do our best, and that's all we can ask ourselves to do, right? So with that being said, guys, it's been Relentless Trader. I hope you did enjoy. Yeah, it really feels like this is gonna be a good week. So no, I'm with you there, man. Yeah. So guys, take it easy. Stay safe. Stay green. I've already had dinner, so I'm just gonna take it easy here. Sip some water. And get ready for bed. I'm gonna take an early bed tonight. Wake up early, feeling good. Before the live stream, I went to the gym, and so you know, feel good, man. Feel pretty good. This is where we're gonna shut it down. Yeah, we're gonna try and be consistent with the Q&As and the videos as best as we can moving forward. And no, I do not drink coffee. I prefer tea. I prefer hot chocolate. If not, orange juice, and I'm good to go. I do not like apple juice. Right, so I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Make sure to have a good night's rest. Don't forget your routine, right? When we wake up tomorrow, those key things that we do. Some people like to take their showers at night. Some people like to take their showers in the morning. You know, whatever makes you feel more comfortable, right? All those small things, you know, it definitely helps out a little bit, right? Make sure you're wearing comfortable clothes, all that stuff, and you know, you have your coffee, your water, whatever it might be, and you know, some people like that big breakfast. Some people like the small breakfast. Whatever it is, come in ready. Make sure that we're on time, right? We got to make sure that we're on time. Respect the market, right? Respect the market. Show up early. Let's do our due diligence. Let's map out all of our key levels, and let's be ready to rock and roll. Depending on pre-market or the open, wherever you guys are watching at. Another beautiful week is ahead of us, and you know, like so many other things in our life, you know, we spoke earlier about consistency, not just in the market, but in all aspects of our lives. We have another week ahead of us, guys, to be great. We have another week ahead of us to do better, right? To improve, to make changes, to make adjustments. Let's rock and roll. Let's knock it out of the park. I feel good. I feel ready. I'm optimistic. Ooh, man. Guys, take it easy. Stay safe, stay green. It's been Relentless Trader. I did post those links earlier, so I'm not going to post them again. I'll let you guys go. Enjoy the family. Enjoy the relatives. Have a good evening. I am, of course, signing out.